Hello everybody, I'm back again to do another video of a dream I had years ago. Again, this is an old dream and goes back about 25 years when I was in my late teens. And this was a very eerie, creepy dream, to say the least. And I believe very much so it has to do with, I guess I'm supposed to say the jab and possibly the mark of the beast, if not one and the same. But anyways, in this dream, it started off, I don't know where I was. I was just standing there outside and I was looking at what was left of a building. And in my dream, I believed it was part of an apartment building. All that was left of it was a corner of the building. Like there was the outside wall, probably about 80 feet long, and then a little bit around the corner and about 30 feet of one of the end walls. And on the inside of both of those walls, the hallways, like this was a 5-story building, so five floors were still sticking out attached to the outside of the wall, and the stairwells going up in between each one, and that was all that was left of this building. So in my dream, the Lord had me walk into this building, up the stairwells, and he had me go up each flight of stairs through all 5 stories of this building and walking down all these hallways. And in every single, even though there wasn't much left of this building, every single hallway I was walking through, there were people crouched down. Like, I don't know if you remember in school when you're taught to do earthquake position, where you crouch down in like fetal position with your hands over the back of your head. Well, that's how all these people were. There was probably 100 people on each floor, like side by side. And the creepy thing about this was none of these people had any hair. They were all brutally pale, like undescribably pale. Nobody had any color to them. I don't even think they had eyebrows either. Like there was no hair on their body. And as I'm walking down the one hallway, they would turn, as I'm walking by them, they would turn and look at me, and they would give me like an evil stare, like they hated me. None of these people were talking. There was nobody saying anything. They weren't talking to each other. I don't know if they had the mentality left or were even capable of speaking at this point. So I walked up there. I walked through these hallways of what was left of this building. And I remember when I was standing on the 5th floor at the top, I looked across, and in my spirit, it told me like I was standing in this building was part of I would say, I don't know if a city or just a town or what used to be a town. But when I looked across the ground, there was nothing. There was nothing else left for like miles. As I looked, all I could see was flat ground, and it was like covered with like a grayish brown dust. That was it. Like I didn't see trees. I didn't see any more houses, buildings, anything. It was just flat and dust. And the strange part about this was even the dilapidated building I was standing on, if I looked straight down, even where you would think there would be crumbled building laying below from the rest of the building, there was nothing. It was just flat dust. There was nothing left. So I found that very interesting. I don't know what this speaks of, if that's possibly could mean nuke or even some other weapon. It makes me think back to a few years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers the town in the States called Paradise, where a lot of people made a stink about it. There was houses that were burning up everywhere, but yet the trees were left standing around, so like they didn't burn. And I know in the videos people were talking about there was vehicles that were found where there was big holes going right through the whole of the video and right through the engine of the vehicle. So a lot of people were talking about some sort of satellite weapon that the government's had. And it makes me think of that. Like, I don't know, it could have been a nuke. I possibly an earthquake, which I doubt. You would think an earthquake there would be rubble left to see. But anyways, so I end up going back down. I walk out of the building and about 50 feet away, and I could just barely make out that I was walking on a street. I could kind of just see the street and the center lines of the street through the dust. And then I looked up, and young woman, probably in her 20s, about 200 feet away, ran onto the street, and we kind of looked at each other. And she was actually normal. She had like dark brown hair, shoulder length, and we kind of looked at each other for a few seconds, and then she took off again and kept running. So I don't know what these people without hair, what they were hiding from, why they were crouched down in the corners of these hallways and walls. Like they were clearly, they were scared to death of something. Something was out after people. And even this other woman who wasn't zombie looking, she was on the run too. Like it just wasn't a good situation, whatever was going on. But yeah, deep in my spirit, it tells me like it had to do with possibly, that thing we're not supposed to say, the jab, or even the mark. It just, these people were not the same. No hair on the men or women. Nothing, like no talking. I don't know. Oh, it was so bad. It was such a creepy dream. But I thought this was another important one that I wanted to get out. A lot of people are taking that right now. Like my wife's working in a hospital, and tons of people are taking it, and a lot of yous out there in the Lord. Like I know many of us say this, it's scary to see how many people aren't awake to what's going on, and they just don't see the days we're living in when it's right before us. Like all the signs are there. Everything the good book and the Lord warned us about, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the just the wickedness. Like the things I could expose, I can't even talk about the wickedness in high places. And if I were to warn anybody out there of who to beware of, it is people in high places. From the life I've lived, that is where wickedness lies. Power corrupts, and the world we're living in, it's very corrupted right now. So yeah, I'm glad I got this dream out. It's kind of an interesting dream, one of my more powerful ones. Not my most yet. I'm still working my way up to that, and then eventually I'm gonna try to do my testimony of when I died for 6 minutes and was in hell and then heaven, and that's gonna be a rough one for me to get through. But I am. That's my main goal, is to get to that one. There's nothing more important than sharing that when you've been to those two places. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop this video and leave it here. Everybody, try to have a good day as we're waiting, and God bless you all. Goodbye.